Good evening, right. So a little bit later than planned, but my week's very much not going as planned at the moment. I meant to be streaming painting during the daytime on like Tuesday, Wednesday, but one of the boys started like a really dry cough. So I had to have a COVID test, which is sent off for. It's arrived today, and it doesn't have. It's incomplete. So basically, got to like send a new one. But it means I had to cancel like his leaving nursery party, not the party's pictures, and like basically nursery for him and his little sister, which is okay. But it means I don't have free time in the day. I'm entertaining them rather than painting, and which is cool. I'm very hands-on. We do a lot of stuff. So we've been out in the garden, we've been doing all sorts of stuff today. We've been out in the garden, but it means that they're asleep, so I get to paint. So I've got the first of the defiled. I say the first of the defiled, my only defiled currently. I'm waiting on a heretic to come in the post, and when he comes, that'll be the basis for a second defiled. We're going to take heretic with a hand that looks vaguely like him. Nothing. So if you see like the heretic and this guy, they're very similar. Like the background is all there, so it's the heretic is a fallen priest of Menoth. He defied Menoth and said, "No, thanks, I can. I'll get on without your help." Hence, there's a lot of similarities. So you're gonna make a version of him. The heretic's got like a staff with a sun on it. That's coming off. I have. Look at me. Where is it? I had it to hand. I have it ish to hand. I already have like a little. Can you make this out? It's quite small, but we've got a variety of little books. So I got a book to be able to basically put that on and have the same as the actual defiled. But yeah, just gonna mess around with his pose a little bit, and see what I can get done basically. I think it'll look really cool. The idea being that he's just going to be a slightly different pose to this guy, and it's just the aesthetic. Like I love this model. I think this model is gorgeous, but I don't like to have like too many things in my army that all look the same, and you can only do so much stuff with poses, right? So for now, this guy's obviously been just primed. I spent like ages building him. I'm not sure why it took so long. There's a lot of faffing around. My airbrushes both have just had like a bit of a full deep clean, and something's not quite right, which isn't great, but it's fine. It just means I'm doing a little bit more fiddling than I'd like with the brush. But yeah, just doing some zenithal at the moment to just make the shading much easier when we come down to it. So if you're not familiar, you're going to be familiar, right? I say that. No, there's I've seen like a bunch of people on the various groups that I'm on. Some of them have only just started. One of my old club members has only been playing any sort of wargames stuff for like a year before COVID maybe. He'd come from never touching this sort of thing at all. So yeah, there's always going to be people who haven't done this, right? So then just basically you prime with black, and then you do gradients of grey through to white, and it just makes it easier to pick up on like the shades and where you've got the shades and highlight on a model. It's still coming through. That's okay. So that's what we're doing currently. Is we're just going to blast a burnished grey over just to make it easier to pick out. And pick out the details as well. You'll see like these flesh. So normally if I hold the model, I'm kind of doing it. I'm going to do it in a way where I don't just spill my my paint out of the cup. But yeah, they're kind of like this angle, like downwards. In fact, I can make my life imminently easier by going, here is the model. This is the sort of angle you want to be doing it for. Your grey, and then like a light grey if you can be arsed, and then almost just top down for the white. It just makes your life easier as you progress. But you'll be able to see just these the faces and stuff, or like the fleshy parts get picked out a little bit more. It's just like the natural way of things out in the book. But yeah, this model's fantastic. I should definitely check. There's a bit of splatter coming through there, but it's not going to make too much difference. Yes, definitely check who's the sculptor. Like, my go-to is my go-to for so long has been like loving Doug sculpts, but it's not the only one. And some of these things are delicious. Like, look at the armour coming out now. Like, already just doing like this very basic layer. You get a pretty quick idea where light hits the model from the top. The idea is it's zenith, right? So it's the top down. It's where the natural light would fall. But as you go through, you see like the faces. The faces are super cool. Like, that's the thing that I'm gonna have a little bit different on the second one is because I'm not using an actual Defiled Archon. It's gonna be a little bit different looking. But I've got some more gas wings, if you've seen it, which is like an undead, like quite a big undead creature. It's like an armies of death for GW. But I think it'll work out pretty well, like size wise, and like be pretty big and dooming. And that's the plan, to have similar like creepy, almost undeadish wings, because these are like, it looks like that. If you just saw the wings, you could be like, yeah, that's some sort of crazy undead horror quite easily. So just whacking this grey down to the back of his book and his spear, shoulder pads. Just push a little bit more onto the back of the robes. And then we'll go down this line, and then we'll end up doing the back of these wings. Yeah, I'm super excited to see if I can make like a viable second one, like suitably different out of the Heretic. In my mind, I think it works. I see why it won't. So hopefully we'll have that in the next like week, and then be able to basically just test them out. I think like body wise, I think the Heretic's like quite chunky. He's on a medium base, so he might be a little bit smaller. So it might be I've got like a big daddy Archon and apprentice Archon. We'll see, but yeah, that's the plan is there. I've got all the bits I need. I said, barring the Heretic himself, so I'm hoping he's going to arrive soon. Thanks to Sykes, one of our locals, who's sending his Heretic for me, which is cool. And Steph, if when she remembers. So I don't have the Heretic. He's the only defiled. He's the only defile that I don't actually have. So I need two. So I need one to be the actual Heretic, and one to be my second Defiled Archon. So you can see like the colours starting to stand out a bit more. The details starting to stand out a bit more. Now we'll do a little bit more on the back wings here. And then we'll swap up to a white. And that'll be the thing that picks out everything else basically. Good. I'm kind of going to do him, like a lot of my Grymkin is very purple, so he's going to be the same. I want to have a bit of a try, it might not be this week, it might be next week. I want to try with, I've got some stencils, some airbrush stencils, and I want to try doing some like Harlequin stars. So my Wanderer is currently unpainted. And yeah, I want to basically do some stars on his cloak, his coat, I should say. So the plan will be there to do like a base coat of the base colour. Should probably be white or yellow of his coat, and then do a purple over the top. And then but do the purple at the top with the stencil in place, so it'll just leave him basically just on this like Harlequin crisscross of diamonds all over his coat, or maybe not all over his coat. We'll do a couple of trial runs on something that's not him first to check I'm happy with it, and I'm comfortable enough with what's coming out. And mix this white. Yeah, it might be like I do like sort of lay lines of diamonds like on the fringes of the coat, just which is going to sort of stand out a little bit more. But we'll see. It's going to basically be, I'll run a test. I go, oh yeah, I like that, or I don't like that. So just getting the paint through. So that's just literally been Vallejo black primer, and then just Vallejo Game Air black, Game Air cold grey, and then like dead white as the top. So this is gonna be top down. So it's gonna be like, hopefully we won't get any of the annoying splatters that I have had a little bit in the last couple of days. We should see just the top parts of the model picked out. Let's get some on his fist here and on his hand. Across the top of his head, and like on the back of his armour, the raised parts on the front of his armour. Over and do the same on the other side. It's quite hard to see to show you without tipping paint everywhere, but you can see see where it is like significantly lighter now at the top. We'll catch like the top of his face, a little bit more than normally you do, but I think it's gonna like really help to highlight his mask and stuff. I think it'll be worth. So it's not part of like the science isn't there, but it's all about the look, and yeah, that's just about like just giving you an extra tool to get happier with how it looks. So we're just gonna do top end of the book and the spear. What's that coming up? I like the material wrap around basically. Out some of his DRs. There's going to be some on his knee because it's like jutting out. adjust the airbrush again. Come on, airbrush. I'm like trying to fight against sending it off for like a deep clean, just because I don't have like a smaller one. I've got like just a bog standard brush to do like terrain and priming with. But if I want to get any painting done with like any detail to it, I'm gonna be buggered because they've got a bit of a queue. The only place that I know anywhere near me that does it is basically a send off your brush. Next day delivery, you just cover that yourself to get it there. Make sure it's being it is safe, and then it goes into the queue to be to receive some love. But that queue has some time to it, unfortunately. So it catch like a little bit of the top of these robes, yeah. Maybe the back. I feel like the spear at the end of the spiky bit might just have like a little bit of colour to it. Yeah, doing like just a little bit on the edge of his cloak as it comes out. The armour. And then we're going to do a little bit further down. So this is just because the light is, if you imagine it's just going falling straight down. So I've got the airbrush basically like next to the wobble. Just going for like these raised areas where the folds are. So enough for that. And then onto the wings. Just be picking up basically that top layer of the faces. So if I do if you haven't seen these guys, like the wings are super detailed. Basically looks like the flayed faces of people that the Archon has caught along the way. It's like a really interesting take. Very much like a tip of the hat to the Skin and Bones, which was like the scary thing in Grymkin for so long. Yeah, the Skin and Bones obviously is basically just like some horrific, almost like sort of towering Slenderman ghoul. That's basically covered in the skin of his flayed victims. They're all white, and that's what the Defiled Archon's wings are very reminiscent of. Really wasn't sure what he'd come out of, like when they gave us the story for him. So if you don't really follow the lore, the Grymkin don't have their own Archons, or didn't have their own Archons. So Zvan Arga, the old witch, started catching Menite Archons and sticking them in Arcane, so in the Grymkin's own world, basically like the afterlife essentially. So you can come here where we will mess with you in horrible ways and make you into one of ours, and this is what's come out. So they're meant to be like an anti-Archon Archon, so if you've got an Archon collecting the souls from close enough to a Defiled, get set on fire for your troubles. So all those soul collectors out there, if you don't want to be on fire. So it's taking some of the element of the Melee Archon, story-wise, and taking it there. So, even here, just with like the that last layer of white there, that's like enough to bring out all the faces, and we'll do the same on the back. Just do the same wing first. Go on, airbrush, don't fail me now. Say don't fail me, if you fail me, yeah. It might be a case of I take it apart again, and something when I put it back together is slightly unhappy. But obviously, it's like a precision instrument, right? So I'm not blaming the airbrush. I've had it for a good while. In fact, I've had it since I bought into Grymkin. I bought Grymkin when Infernals were being tested. I was all for like, I'm gonna buy Infernals. I had like this Cthulhu-y deep sea scheme I wanted to do them in. I was all set to go, but the release schedule just didn't like tie up with what I wanted. Just because I wanted to take them to WTC at the time, and I was like, they're not going to be out or enough of them isn't reliably going to be enough to hand, especially in Europe, like that short area. So it was a bit of a gamble, and I wasn't willing to do that much of a gamble. Like as a team event, I was like, yeah, I need to make sure, and yeah, I was set with the prospect that it might be that I'd end up having stuff super late, or not at all, even after I submit lists, and have like, you know, this painting marathon. So instead, I bought the entire Grymkin range, pretty much. I think I didn't have Witchwoods, Piggies, or Dreadrots, and around the Heretic, because I can't remember if the place I bought them from didn't have a Heretic, or the Heretic was missed off my order for some reason. I can't remember. I think it was like missed off the order. Yeah, it meant I basically just splurged the money I had saved for Infernals and just bought in all in. So I spent, well, maybe like a solid month just painting a lot of purples and greens. And I was sort of slowly wanting to go back to them to give them like that extra layer of paint and like the extra detail. So basically, I made them perfectly fine to stick on the table. Let me quickly boost the hand. I get the King thing. So there's my King, and I think he's perfectly alright for a tabletop. Like nice spacing, just kind of like, but there's not much to it. I've not done enough for me to be happy. I've done a little bit more on the Dreamer with her like silky sort of robe effect I'm looking for. But yeah, that's the idea, is basically go back, add those like extra layers of DL, add like sort of a lot more to it than I first had a chance to do. Yeah, some of that will be doing things like the stenciling. So I like makeup as well, so I wanted my King and Nothing to basically be a mime. So he's kind of got like just got like pale skin. Well, I've got quite pale skin. Basically, yeah, just gonna work on them a little bit more and see where I can pick out details and cool like accents and go, right, yeah, I can add to this and still look really cool. So stuff like, yeah, the stars to make the Wanderer into a Harlequin, a full-on Harlequin. The mime makeup and just adding those extra details to the King of Nothing. Finishing off the Dreamer's cloak, coat, dress. It's got dress, right? It's dress. yeah, we'll get there. It should look cool, I think, at the end. I've also got an awful lot of angels and merc stuff, and basically everything in convergence apart from Teps to paint, which was just kind of lucky. I picked up to play the first BTC. Quite enjoyed them. They're really strong, so it was really good for like team format. And I kind of like the idea of doing a very sci-fi, very like high tech looking army for convergence, rather than seem like a lot of other lists, a lot of other armies kind of go quite deep into like the broken down Clockwork Legion that is like sort of either being reanimated by the new priests or come back. I've seen some really cool ones that have got like moss on them and very much like look like they've been sat in the back of a cave. And as things have changed in Kane, so they've come back and been brought to life, I guess. Right, so but yeah, so I got those, which is a big part of the paint queue at the moment, and I got a lot less Grymkin if I want to just put them on the table. So hopefully in August, I'm channeling my inner like Louis the whatever 16th. I've been doing a lot of running around and work in the garden with the kids today, so I had to have a shower, and yeah, my hair just becomes this like a Renaissance fest. So yeah, there's the option of basically just sticking an awful lot of time into painting those guys. If I want to have a painted army for it, I don't have to. It's not like a requirement, but it'd be nice after like being in lockdown for so long to go, oh, I actually have an army. It's painted. Here we go. So I'm kind of going to do Grymkin models, the excess Grymkin model, which is basically just like a couple of tweaks on a few different models. The three new things, which are the two defiled and the heretic conversion, and the horsey men, 4 horsey men of the apocalypse. That's probably the only models I need to actually paint. And then I can go, well, do I now have time to go back and do loads of angels, or do I want to go back and do loads of angels, or do I want to just stick with Grymkin for a little bit more? So let's get this. But we'll see. We'll see what takes my fancy. Basically, once some of the Grymkin is done, yeah, the scheme for the convergence as well is going to be a little bit challenging, like not making myself easy for myself. Yeah, basically like very sort of sci-fi, like almost like Infinity-esque, or I guess Warcaster-esque. That's similar. It's not being painted by Angel Charles at the moment. So like strips of colour on different sections, so make it look a little more like sci-fi armour than separate sections. So we have, well, we were half an hour in. He's already go. Give you a little bit of a closer look. You should be able to see if I bring the light in a little bit more. You can see here with the light like full on it how the greys and the whites basically sort of cast on shadow. It's a little bit awkward because to get the camera, I'm holding like the light here, so it's not entirely natural because yeah, I've got to hold the light at a different angle and the model at a different angle to get it shot properly. But you get the idea. So he's done, and then the standard model itself is gold armor or gold and silver armor, and then like a very dark purple like robes and stuff. we're using gold, we are using Vallejo metal colour, spelt that way. Why not? Metal colour gold. I've got a few of them. I've got like, I've got steel to hand. Steel. They're beautiful. I'm not sure where. I'm sure I've got some more. I'm sure I've got like a jet one, which is darker, and I've got like a variety basically. But they're like hands down the most beautiful like metallics to work with I've ever had. So that's what we use. Which was shown to me by Sindra, who's one of the Norwegian WCC players who played Grymkin. He's like, check out. I was talking to him about painting my Grymkin at the time, and I was like, oh, I am having trouble with like the gold I'm using. I think I might have just been using, I can't remember if it was P3 or Games Workshop one, or just like a normal Vallejo one, like Vallejo Air. It's like, check out this range. Like, they're expensive, but they're bigger pots. Like, they're in comparison to the little dropper bottles. Yeah, there's 1.08 fluid ounce compared to what's in these guys. A 0.57. So yeah, double it out of it, which is cool. So check this out, and never have I looked back for another gold or another metal. To be fair, I think I've just splattered metal all over now. So yeah, if you and it's not just for airbrushing. Like, all these Vallejo paints that I'm using are airbrush paints, but at the same time I use them with a brush too. They're like just nice. Obviously they're thin because they're airbrush paints, so you don't have to mess around too much with any sort of detail to it. This is okay. So I'm going to start doing a little bit on his armour. So the theory will be to just get his armour. See how much my airbrush agrees. So normally it's like quite nice in how much sort of control and how much detail I can do, because it's a very thin needle. It's like it's a Sotar I'm using, so a Badger Sotar 2020. So we'll start just up here. The armour will do nice thin passes and then back again. Like, by the time I've done like up to the top of his leg and then back down, be ready to go again. I'm not going to worry too much about getting the bits that will end up being a darker steel colour. Basically, concentrate on just getting the gold on, and then we can work with it from there. So you can start to see it coming around to the side. Like, yeah, good time, take it. You know, if it's a model you want to just smash on the table, like, there's absolutely no shame and no like negativity. If you're just the sort of person that wants to go, I just want to just give him a bit of paint and then put them on the table so I can play them. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want to increase, like, you know, the how it looks, if you want to work on it, then spend the time early, right? Make it look nice before you go. This guy might end up not going to to a club game for like a week while I work on him, just so I don't end up sort of tossing him around the table and chipping the bits that I've already worked on. Let's do a little bit. Let's see how this works. So just pick him up a little bit. So hopefully. Let's go here. So it's slowly coming out. Now we're just doing these thin sections. It's not going to matter too much where there's like a bit of overspray. There shouldn't be any overspray, but come on, airbrush, don't hate me. This seems right. So, just gonna play around, needle. A bit more flowing through. Mix it up. It's like mix it. So this is if you're just in, this is the first of my defiles. So the first defiled archon for my Grymkin. So a little bit of fighting with the airbrush tonight, where it's wanting to not be as accurate as I normally would expect it to be. So it means we're going to be a little bit more sloppy, but it's fine. This is on like this base layer of gold on his armour, so it's going to get touched up anyway. It's going to have the all like the steel sections. I'll just fill in later on, just by hand with a paintbrush. Same paints, so I'll be still using this range. So this the Vallejo metal colour, COLOR. If you're following and actually want to go, oh yeah, that's the actual thing. And once again, thanks to Sindra from the Norwegian WTC team, who is the one that put me onto how nice this paint is. Like, so as I said, we're overspraying just because the airbrush is wanting to at the moment. Like normally this is like really like an accurate. It's got like a tiny needle on it. It's really accurate to get painted done, and not tonight. We're actually leaning forward. This is very much me getting used to where I need to sit, so you can see the model, you can see me. So bear with me, and yeah, if you're watching, if you've come along, I do appreciate it. So just see like some of this, like, look how brilliant that gold is. It's like just it is literal liquid gold. There's like nothing I don't like about how this range of metallics come onto a model. Like I said, there's the overspray here onto like the robes and stuff. That's not going to matter. They're going to end up being purple, just done over. Probably mainly with an airbrush. then we'll do a lot of touch-ups by hand. But the point is, yeah, the basics are there, like that colour. Like, I don't know about you, but I've never had a gold until I used this one. That's like has such amazing coverage. That's like looked like you want it to look, like straight away. And this is obviously just a couple of passes over. Obviously we're on like a zenithal prime model, so there's like a little bit of difference. But it's like the back of the boot. Can you see the back of the boot this side? Barely. But like, as a first pass for the legs, like, it's pretty beautiful. Like, maybe am I too much of a Vallejo metal colour fanboy? Maybe, but you'll learn to forgive me, or like become one of us. One of us. It's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna we'll just work on some of the rest of the armour, and then we'll come back to the legs for a second go over. But yeah, come and say hello if you're watching the chat, so I can let me know what do you guys use. What's your go-to like metallics, or are you a fan of the non-metallic metals? Like, hands up, I've tried it once or twice, like non-metallic metal, and I mean literally once or twice. I've not gone far into it at all. I want to give it some time. Like, it's a technique I'd like to try and like get the hang of. But not everyone's a fan. And I think for doing like, especially for like doing an army, like imagine doing like a full-on golden army in it. It's like, do you have enough time? But there's a million and one like tutorials, there's a million and one different YouTubers who will show you like quick and dirty versions, or full on be like, let me walk you through how we build up these layers of brown and make this brown look like gold, essentially. There's a WhatsApp chat I'm in for like our local club, and yeah, one of the guys absolutely hates non-metallic weapons. It's like you just painted brown, get over yourself. And I'm like, well, yes, you are just painting brown, but you're painting brown in a very clever way. So I have to go, well, I do appreciate the level of skill that goes into it. And if you're good at it, it looks really good. So like, fair play to people who spend that time, who get that level of gold. So we're just going to do around the back of his head here, this collar. It's all going to be will still be in gold. Flip him over a little bit. This might be like one of the most awkward bits to get to show you lot while I'm painting. So I'm trying to like avoid where the camera's in front of me, just like facing down at the table. So let's do that. I'll catch like the inside of his pauldrons. I say his, it's obviously quite like an androgynous like form, the Defiled Archon, with the same stern, faceless. Well, it's kind of got a face, but very much not a face. But yeah, there's a lot of coolness to the Grymkin stuff. How is this? It's wholly simple. It's like a broken Menefix. Was it upside down Menefix? I'm not even sure. Should check out the lore a little bit more. feel ashamed of my lack of lore knowledge. So yeah, we're just doing the outskirts of the gold. To the middle where the symbol is. So I'm not going to worry about the middle section, and around it is going to end up being like a steel, like a darker colour rather than gold, but that's just going to be filled in by regular paintbrush, just filled in by hand. So I'm not going to worry about any opes right there. Just doing a little bit of these edges. I'm assuming his back plate is going to be like the same like steel colour. So let's work on getting his arm piece done. Like the clenched fist. Kind of, yeah, that is it. So I'm trying to work out whether this section on the back you can see. There it is. That section on the back is like meant to be like a plate. I think it is. I'm pretty certain it's a plate. So that's what it's getting done as. Like the most awkward angles to get into. Maybe this should have been a sub-assembly. Doing should I be doing the wings separately? I've committed hard. I committed hard, and this is what we got, so that's fine. It's enough that we can get the basics on here. Like I said, most of this thing is going to be done in like in steel afterwards, so I don't need to super worry about where it's sort of going over. I'll just swap over to Vallejo. So again, do the chained malefics. Looks like a chain around it, I think. So like sort of broken chained malefics. Very much is. Sorry, Menoff. This one is not for you anymore. It's kind of cool. Just do this first layer on the arms, and then we're going to go back and just work around it a little bit more. Just bring the gold through a bit more. Let's yeah. Here is the first. I think talking about the idea for the second one, I think yeah, my main thing is basically going to be whether or not Heretic is more going to be big enough to do it justice, essentially. Whether he's going to be a big enough boy to be a second Archon, or whether he's going to look a little bit too small. But you only find out by trying, right? Or at least you find out when you've got them all in front of you and go, no, or yes. So we'll see how he works out. Let's go into the third thing here. So this awkward piece to get into is back of his bracer. So, and then I guess the book's got like a bunch of like gold accents on it. The book of the staff, rather. So just do. What's the main staff meant to be? Is it could just be gold. and it's wrapped, or more likely I think it's going to be steel, and then some of the areas are going to be gold. So we'll do the spot the spike in gold, and then like the bands around it. That's right here. Again, I don't need to worry too much about. It's the exactly where it is. It's the intent where it's going to be a lot more models, a lot more paint on it to bring out. And the bands up here. Like, I'll just hold it for a second. Let you take a peek of how the gold looks already. So the legs have had a little bit more. So you see, like, really gets like that metallic shine. And then obviously the upper body needs a little bit more going over. That's only had its first pass. But hopefully, just from that, you can see like how effective, like how nice this paint is to work with. If you're painting like, if you've been a naughty boy or girl this year, or others, and you've cursed yourself to paint Stormcast Eternals, do yourself a favour and have a look what options you have, because this is probably gonna make your life like a lot easier. Get an airbrush, get some of this. Obviously, there's plenty of like good primers you can play around with. I know Firestorm has been Firestorm game in Cardiff. I've got something up on their page this week about. I'm trying to think of the name of the company that's done them. It might be Secret Weapon Miniatures or Secret Level or something. I'm sure Norbert has. If anyone's been around Warmachine for any length of time, they'll have heard the name Norbert. He's a fantastic chap, mostly playing Marvel Crisis Protocol at the moment. But I'm sure he did like a thing a good while ago, like a Kickstarter, and there's this like really nice gold alternative primer to like Retro armour. So if you're painting en masse, maybe that's the option. But certainly if you're painting any small bits and want really nice metallic metals, like, I don't know, am I like a Vallejo snob that I'm like I wouldn't touch anything else. I only have eyes for Vallejo. Just for me, because I like doing like a lot of airbrushing, and then I do like some stuff with like a standard paintbrush. It just like makes sense to me. I don't need to double down. So it's the first pass. So let's just have a quick check again, right? So we've got 2 layers pretty much on the legs. Certainly on the left leg. Maybe the left leg's had a little bit more love. But you can like really see the gold there. So just gonna go back to it. So let's try and keep myself in the camera. This is hard, right? I'm working there. I'm getting there. So just working it way down. Checking it's still coming, which it is. That's good. So the plan is to do the gold with the airbrush, do the purple for the robes with the airbrush, and probably definitely do like the wings. Very much like why didn't I need the wings off? I was very eager to build this model. I was like, I've been waiting. I want it so bad. But yeah, I think it's going to be looking very cool by the end of this. once all the airbrushing is done, basically I take out the standard brush and start picking out the details then in the armour. So picking out the steels. So like I said, it'll still be using the Vallejo metal colour range, but yeah, basically just showing you don't need to have an airbrush to apply it. Let's have a look at that, see how that's starting to really show. I'm going to work through to the top section. Yeah, if you've been playing Grymkin since these guys came out, I assume generally everyone just starts the list with 2 of these. They're so good on the table. They're not like, I'd say they're not like ridiculous, like rules wise. They're not like overtuned. Like if these were available, obviously you take them over Death Archons because of the synergy, and you can only take a Death Archon. But in Grymkin, obviously you don't want to be saddled with taking things that aren't going to trigger your Arcana or aren't going to benefit from your Arcana. So it means the Death Archon, ridiculous as it might be stats wise, doesn't get the same amount of love, which is fine. So it's just bottom section is cool. Let's be a bit darker underneath the pauldrons, and then work your way background. So obviously where all the light picks off the pauldrons, you can really like see like how the gold looks now. Like I will shut up about the gold eventually. I'm not. It's not sponsored by Vallejo, by the way. This is just me fanboying about them a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure this is all nicely covered. The Mantrix is gonna be as shiny as I want it, and then behind the pauldron. So obviously it'll catch. It'll be brighter on these top sections anyway, just because of the zenithal. So, if I take a step back for a second, like you start to like really see like how that comes out. Likewise, what's not to love? So. Carry on, and then we can do just the back of this collar. It's pretty hard for you guys to see on the camera, but let's try and we'll start doing some of the the crown. So again, this is going to be a bunch of overspray. It's fine. It's part of the plan. Yeah, the overspray here on the head is going to be a little bit kind of it's necessary. Let's get back in the shot a little bit more. We'll come back to the rest of the crown once we've done this other arm. Basically, we're going to do the sections I've done already, just to get them sufficiently laid up. So we have the symbol, my camera's right in front of my face, which is a little bit awkward. It's kind of like thin as it is. This section stopping me from directly seeing the screen, so it's hard to tell if I'm like. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So you have to excuse me if I am. When you have to. That's what you got. So yeah, we'll just work on these layers. Bring up the gold. And then this awkward section at the back. So you kind of have to obscure it a little bit. And this back section is proving a little bit tricky to get to. I think it'll end up being a bit of a paintbrush sort of overjob. That's okay. We'll just go back onto the pommel of the staff, the spear, what have you. I'm just doing the bands of gold as we go through it. So yeah, if you're looking for like a really nice, easy way to get a beautiful looking gold zenithal priming model. That's a bit too zealous coming through the airbrush. Yeah, zenithal priming model. Crack out a pot of Vallejo metal colour, COLOR, of whatever you want really. Like this is obviously example is gold. Get adding them layers. It doesn't have to be gold. It doesn't have to be with an airbrush, which is really nice. Like I super find that like useful. Like we see here, like there's these sections I'm going to want to do with a brush, with like a traditional brush. So I don't have to like rely on it being exclusively airbrush paint. Which is cool. No one wants to be tied into like one medium all the time. Let's put this guy over there. It's definitely like a nice easy way to get like a really nice gold. So got a little bit more to go over on the top section of the armour. I think the legs are pretty much there. Yeah, top section of the armour, and then the crown. Like as metal, like metallic gold goes. Like looks pretty sweet. What do people think? Are they? Have I sold you? Are you converts to Vallejo? Just gonna do this front section of armour. And very much do it from the top down. So all these raised sections are going to be the ones that are going to pick up the most paint, which will be the things that we pick up the most light. See that building up already very nicely. The shoulder is starting to look like it as well. So this side's pretty much done. Just gonna this back section a little bit more. And onto the other side, to the arm. Using if you're like fairly new to airbrushing as well, like I just use like a nice and low like, PSI. It's not like blasting right through. You want like be gentle to be able to do all like the thin, basically everything like you'll learn by watching all like the really good sort of tutorials from like YouTubers and things will be take your time, do thin coats, multiple thin coats gets you there, rather than blasting at your paint. So this guy now is just doing the crown. So try and hold it up a little bit more for you. So just around his face, you can also get a really good idea of like the gleam of that armour. And then yeah, the detail around his face is basically where his crown lies. So I'm very much going to try and do just a couple of thin layers just to build up. Again, not super worried about exactly any overspray onto the face or onto the back of his head. Yeah, it's going to get corrected when I do the steel by hand anyway. So I'll bring it up towards the camera a little bit more. How focused can he be? He's fairly focused. But how's that for quite a lovely gold? So definitely do a little bit more on his crown, his face ring, I guess. face crown. So just getting this on the top. You can like add like a very thin, like a very subtle, like a silver, like highlight to this at the end. The gold where the light's going to be like the tip of the light's going to basically catch like that glint. I think it's mostly of them the gold. At which point, because I used a metallic, I need to give a real scrub of the brush. Metallics are the ones that you don't want lingering in your brush, basically. Let's look at there. Let's have a look at his arm, like under the camera. I think we're getting it right. We're getting there. So again, we're just gonna go over from like this really sort of tight, high angle. Just where the gold's gonna hit the strongest, or the light's gonna hit the strongest. There we go. A little bit more on the back of the pommel, the staff. Like, it's not too bad. I think to the bottom of his feet. One for there, one for the side. So we have the basis of the gold armour, and then we're going to move on to probably like the robes. No, the actual paintbrush. So every time I scoot off the side here, this is where my sink is. So I use the sink. If you were trying to work out what room to paint in, if you've got the option of having one of the same, take the option. Like, you could just use a bucket, I guess, right? But no one really wants to do that. It's not like a bucket at their feet throw when they're painting. It's kind of asking for something to go wrong. I'm just going to do a rest with the cleaner. Oh yeah, the other thing is have ventilation, have pots. Don't kill yourself with cleaning solutions. That's good. I'm just gonna make sure it runs through. The exciting bit is if you're using an airbrush, you really got to clean it. Like, if you're not cleaning your airbrush, you're gonna regret it sooner rather than later. So I'm just spraying through. Let's get rid of this gold. We're mostly empty. Which is good. And then yeah, we'll pick up the next. A little bit more solution through it. Spray that out as well, because I don't really want to be spraying cleaning cleaning juice onto the model. Okay, cool. Water. So there we go. So I'm gonna breathe for a second, sip a drink, and say hello. Thanks for joining me. By the way, if you're watching, if you're just like scamming through Twitch, if you're like part of like the Grymkin or the painting or like the Warmachine General page, here is the start of the Defiled Archon. So we've so the gradient of colour is like the zenithal prime, which we've started with tonight. So just doing starting with a base of black and then going through greys and whites. We've I said liberally applied, but like carefully applied multiple layers of the gold where we're going to want to have it, and then all these like inner panels that aren't going to be gold, we'll just get brushed in later. I think we do. Yeah, looking at it, I think we just go on to the purple. So, try to remember what purple I actually used. It's gonna be the interesting ones. We've got a variety. We've got a very dark one, which is Hexed Lichen, like a lighter one, alien purple, and then a very purpley purple, Warlord purple. So these are the main three. Don't get mixed up. I'm on a different computer to the one I used to. Oh, Gamers Girl, thanks. Yeah. So if you've not been watching, this is what the gold is. So it's Vallejo metal color, spelled that way, gold. I'll be using steel for the inner sections of the armour when I get to it, but it's like it's an airbrush paint, but you can absolutely use it with a paintbrush. So when I'm doing, let me look for. Grab a paintbrush to show you quickly before I move on. Yeah, it's got time to dry. These like inner sections of the armour, like here, and like inside the pauldrons, things like that. They're all going to be, yeah, they're going to be steel. So yeah, I'll be using like my actual paintbrush to fill those in, because my airbrush is being temperamental, so it's not it's not gonna be too good. But yeah, if I give you a quick slow look at the coverage of like, both the zenithal and like the gold. So that was like three thins of passes over with the gold to get the armour like suitably shiny, metallic. Like it's a really like good coverage of gold. I love the Grymkin models. And next we're looking at, I've just pushed the needle in and not wanted to. Next I'm going to look at matching it basically to what I've been working on for like the Dreamer. So this is the purple I'm going to like aim for. You can see a little bit where she's not quite finished, but see what I'm kind of like looking for with like the different highlights of the dress. I'm going for like a silk look to it, and that's basically what I'm gonna try and replicate on this chap, this fine Archon. So this might be a bit of a trial and error as I try and remember what the mix was. Yeah, the gold's amazing. I've got steel tan behind me, and I've definitely got. I was convinced I had like a bunch of the other ones, like jet metal, which is like a really darker sort of version. But maybe I don't. Or it's in one of my cupboards behind me, and I just need to do a better search out. So do a couple of drops of the darkest, the Hexed Lichen, and then a couple of drops of Warlord purple, if it comes out. Oh. This might be a quick extra shake. Yeah, the model's super cool. It's I don't know if you're a Warmachine and Hordes player. It's a Defiled Archon from the Grymkin faction from Privateer Press's Warmachine Hordes. It is super cool. It's basically a Menite Archon who is basically like the human god of fire and vengeance that was captured, messed with in the underworld essentially for X amount of time, because the world runs differently there, and essentially just converted to be a Grymkin's own version, as it saw all these gods creating archons and sending them into the war with the Infernals, which is basically demons. And they went, well, we haven't got any. Like, why is that fair? And obviously, Grymkin are not nice. Very much like a twisted fairy tales. It's going to come out in one huge blob in a minute. So the obvious thing to do would be capture one of these archons from the other gods and mess with it until you've got what you want, which is what the old witch Zavan Arga, basically Babi Yaga, that's what she did. Started capturing Menite archons, going, well, you could be part of our cause instead. So here comes the first mix. So it's I've gone for two drops of the Hexed Lichen, which is like the really dark one, and more drops of the Warlord purple, which is the really light purple one, because it was clogged in. We'll see in a second. So I just move move everything around. Let's see. So this is the purple. So we fit pretty close there. So just good. Yeah, that's nice. So again, and we're going to have the same slight issue where the airbrush isn't wanting to be as accurate as it normally is. I definitely need to stick some more juju juice in, some flow brewing, so that makes the consistency. So it doesn't clog up. What are you painting at the moment? What's your drug of choice? Are you Warmachine, or are you another mini game, or completely different stuff? The chap has made some lovely terrain for me. That basically just like does a lot of airfix stuff. It's definitely not wanting to come out as nice. Tiny bookmarks. Oh, that's kind of cool. I have just started reading again. Not like I can't read. I realised that's like not too long ago. I was like, I've not read a book in ages, and I love like my proper roleplay, my D&D, and the Drizzt like saga, the epic like story about the Dark Elves from R.A. Salvatore, I'd like to say off the top of my head, and like the latest game basically and book expanding on like the Drow universe, or the Drow world, I suppose, was coming out, and I was like, I've read some of his other books, but I've never read like the Drizzt stuff, and it goes back to like the 80s, I think. Like the first book is like 1989 or something along those lines, and I was like, I'm just going to start from scratch. So it's like I don't mind what like condition the book is in. So I just got them second hand. Like the first trilogy, the original trilogy, which is like Homeland. It starts with Homeland. Homeland, Exile, and Sojourn. Is that how you say it? Basically, yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pick these up. That'll be my reading for a bit. Yes, I'm only on the second book, but I'm enjoying it, which is cool. The last like books before those I read were I got to part of your book series too. Oh, cool. Yeah, the thing I was reading before that was The Wheel of Time. I can't even remember what number I got to, and fell off. So at some point, I do want to go back and read them, but you know, it's finding the time, right? So yeah, so we're just doing. It's like really rich. It's really rich purple, very regal. But look at this. This is shouldn't be splattering. This is really. Just gonna try and tighten up the. I should be able to like basically like write my name with this. So let's do a little bit of messing around. This should be just air that's sending it out. Obviously not just air. So not bad. So normally if you're using an airbrush, if you're getting splatter, it's because it's like getting stuck, getting clamped. So it needs some thinner. There's my thinner. That's like what people will do in a bind. So we'll mix it up a little bit more. Do you say part of your book 2 series, like your own book, or do you mean your Drizzt book, or the book or like the series you're reading? Kind of like trying to find like a good. I give it like just 10 minutes every day to read a little bit, and the early books of the Drizzt saga and stuff is quite thin. Like they're only like that thin. So it's not a huge amount to like plow through. Right, so this is now House of Night. Oh, cool. That rings a bell, but I don't know why. Could be, So here I am, drawing lines of purple instead of painting the Archon. do a little bit out of there. Yeah, really the airbrush is cool. I used to do a lot of Vampire the Masquerade. It's like the RPG stuff. It's like my vampire fix, which is super cool. It's the storyteller for White Wolf, which is they had like an online game basically. How much should we get? Yeah, much. All right, so we've got some control in here. I'm very sad if I start to bust too much purple over the gold shit, so I'm going to be careful. Definitely, definitely more than I expect to be coming out, so yeah, and it's coming out splattery. This might be let's have a look. I want to find this little sweet spot where the needle is okay. Hopefully this is a bit better. So we are back on the rope here. So the airbrush is being slightly temperamental, so I'm just being careful because I don't want to go fully over where I've done the gold. I'm happy with it. So just doing this, it's really dark, like royal purple stuff. The good thing is it's not going to super matter if I go over too much. So if I do spray over and get some on the armour, it's going to be fixable, which is nice. But I think here is should be able to spray out air. So you can see, like, even with even with an airbrush that's like fighting you. If you've got an airbrush with a really small needle, which is this one, Sotar is like I think it's like 0.2 or something like that. It's one of the really detailed one. You need a real detailed airbrush. You can still like get in there and work the layers. Like I say that and I just turn the model and go. I'll quickly overspray onto his knee. So yeah, there's some fight to this guy tonight. Let's see if I can brush off some of that. It's not too bad. So you see, we're just getting that first layer where we've overbrushed it. Oh, thanks, Rich. enjoy whatever you're making. What's the time? It's like 10 o'clock here. I'm going for an hour and a half, so we'll see how. I think it's going to be all depending on how frustrated I get with my airbrushes, how long I carry on for. Yeah. The section that's gone over there is one that's going to end up being steel anyway, so I definitely don't have to worry too much about it. So just working on getting a better flow of paint through. Yes, it's definitely gonna be a full-on. You're getting taken apart tomorrow. Might be my exciting stream is me bashing airbrush parts against my desk, crying. They're fiddly, like 100%. I think that's what puts people off. And when people start, if they don't like look after their brush at the start, or if they buy like a crappy brush and expect it to be able to perform miracles, that's basically where the issue comes. Okay, so I think we've got something to go with for now. So we're back on it. Say that I immediately, yeah, sorry, we've got it. So we're back on the purple. Yeah, people kind of, I think in my experience of people that I know have picked up airbrushes and then stopped, it's mainly been they've kind of given it a good go, and then they've not liked like the amount of maintenance and like the amount they've had to put in like extra, and a lot of that's like avoided, I think, by just being like really on top of your cleaning. And though I have been on top of my cleaning, I also haven't ever like given this brush like a proper like complete clean and maintenance. I've had it for like a good few years now, so basically I think that's what it's wanting. It's telling me its own way. Send me to the people that will strip me down into the tiniest parts. Make me new again. And it's like it's an expensive tool. Like you spend like a lot of time and money. Let's look around the tool again. Yeah, you spend a lot of money and time on your airbrush. You want to make sure that it's doing a good job. Currently, we are doing a job. Not necessarily a great job, but it's going to be done tonight. So just getting some base purple off his robes. And then move on to this section next to gold and try and just be careful. We're not going to end up seeing like a massive over smash. Keep clogging again. So yeah, we might let's see how we go. The plus side is it does improve in a minute. I can just switch over to to doing the steel, which is the airbrush. Sorry, the airbrush, the traditional brush. Come on. We're getting a bit out. But yeah, certainly not enough to make it worthwhile. Yeah, so we're going to call it airbrushing. But so just need to rinse it out, clean it. Let me shooting stuff out at least. But not shooting the right stuff when I want it. So there's not enough control there to carry on. So I'm going to end up messing my progress. So instead, power a bunch of cleaner through the airbrush. So give me a minute while I do that. And then we'll move on to an actual physical brush. So but yeah, so this is progress though so far. Is we've got through the zenithal, we've got through all of the gold, which is nice to see. And then we're just starting on the purple, but yeah, the airbrush is not playing ball. And we're not in there. Doesn't have to get done tonight. So I'll play a long game instead, and we'll get the actual brush out. So the airbrush is off there. So somewhere is a cap for it. We don't need no cap. It's fine. So here we go. So we've had a little bit of to and fro there. A bit of airbrush shenanigans. So you hopefully though will have seen, or if you watch back, or if you join us on the one like on YouTube or something, which you'll see it later. Yeah, you'll see that just getting those layers of the zenithal down like help to bring out the colours, and then with just like a couple of thin coats of the gold, we like achieve like I think a really nice like full metallic gold, like the shine. It's cool. And then I don't know where my actual palette is, so we're just using some super glue case or something. But we're gonna move on to this one. So steel. So this will be those inner sections are going to be where we're looking at the armour. So like quite small bits, but like if I quickly show you that. So traditionally, I'm going to kind of just wing it and see what I like the look of. But like this section here of armour, like the breast, the chest, I should say, section. Some of these bits on the legs, they'll all be picked out in the steel. This brush should have got a smaller one, maybe a smaller one. Let's go pretty small and we'll see where we get from there. But we'll just put a bit of water in the bottom. And a bit of a squirt. And this beat. So yeah, as we said, it's the Vallejo gold colour, COLOR, that's gone in so far. And this is steel, which is like a what you'll see in a second. It's put too much water into that one. Sorry. Let's show you the looks in a second and see what we think. So I'm gonna try and make sure I'm giving you like the right angle. Okay. So I might zoom in too much now. Maybe zoom out a little bit. So obviously the wings haven't been touched at all, so we start to build this silver up in the midsection. We'll see how we go. So again, this is like the whole Vallejo range is, you know, airbrush ready. But you don't have to. There's nothing like that ties you into only using it with an airbrush. I think this is all obviously just an actual brush to get this on. If I zoom back in, you see it's just like the one little layer here already. I kind of start to see coming out. Maybe we'll keep it this level. Well, we don't need a compression really anymore, so that's done enough. Yes, we'll see. We'll see how much I need to put onto the sky, like layer wise. To get to where we want to be. So very much will be, you know, the whole build up the layers. Don't slap it on too thick. Don't worry about it. Treat the model nice. You can see, like, working over the gold just makes it look a little bit darker. Obviously, it's quite dark on the range of the metallics that you get out of the metal color range as well. So it shouldn't take too long to start to see, like, really see the difference as you sort of build up. I got the render, like the 3D render next to me on the other screen to refer back to. But I'm going to basically just like see how I feel. You know, like PP certainly have gone for some time of paint it as you want to have it, right? Does that stop you having a white K-Dot army, you know, or even like taking the traditional schemes of other factions, I guess, you know, having you go for a blue and yellow K-Dot army if you want to. It's your models, you'll be the one putting them on the table, you'll be the one playing them, so do as you will. So I'm just going to try and get into this bottom section underneath the pauldron. Start to see that colour come together. I think the middle of the sun is meant to be like the steel, but certainly we've got like a thin line here of colour. So this first. Come to the rest as we go into it. So just painting around the sunburst. Got that first. These first layers all in. I've already see like just it being picked out. I'm like ducking down so much to like see it. Do I adjust the camera a little bit so so you can see me a bit more. Yeah, we're getting that section. I'm just going to concentrate on the front section first, and then we'll work around basically to the other parts of the armour to do. So work on this very thin layer around the sun, back into the middle. Chase him. Looks like this is going to be like one of the most fiddly sections. As you just work with like those segments, especially when he's got his fist very handily stuck in the way. It's like, oh, thanks. If I had a second one of these, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd be leaving certain bits off until after the painting was underway. We can see here, like this like really like nice steel colour going down around the gold, so it's not super noticeable. Obviously, as I build it up, we'll see it, and I'll be able to like add highlights and maybe a bit of bit extra to it, so you can see the difference. And then we've kind of got like this section here in between this part on here seems to be like all cloth, and then like almost like a rope. This middle section there is all steel. So that's what I do. So again, it's like the trick that every painter will always tell you is take your time. Do your layers thin. So turn him slightly and get there. Hopefully, it's quite hard to see where the angle. I've got to hold it for you guys to see it, for you peeps. It's quite hard for me to see where the sunburst ends. I think we got it. There we go. Again, then there's this sun section in the center, which I think on the render, or like the box art basically, is steel. We're gonna leave it for now, and we'll basically come back to it inside later on, whether I want to have it in a different color. I could just do it in. Could do it in gold. Could do it in steel. Could do it as actual colour, almost like a gem or a glow. Do it as a glow. That would be nice. Yeah, we're going to work our way down the armour. I think we've got that's this section here that I've oversprayed the purple with the airbrushes that hated me. It's fine because it gets to get made steel anyway. This section here. not sure why. There's like the joint, not the joint, the like this part here looks to me like it would be like a strap, but apparently it's gold, so gold it is. And just a little bit of the steel in between sections. And down the foot, for some reason, this raised section is all steel as well. So there's just a bit of variety, right, to the palette. Obviously, when they've put this together, they've gone, oh, we don't want an entire gold angel. Understandably. So that's up there. And I think this section in between is like meant to be like the foot joint. So that can also be a steel. So yeah, I've got the like the box art next to me. On the other monitor, but I'm kind of more going with how it feels. So should we start to see like the difference of that steel to gold ratio building up, and I'm gonna switch across to the other side. Yeah, we see now this is the foot. The end section there. This top plate here is steel. And let's see down the other side of the plate. And now we head toward this. A bit more of an exposed section of it on his right leg. So, I mean, this looks like to me this looks like a strap, but it's in gold. So, or rather, it's in gold on the box art. It could be that it doesn't end up staying gold on my model, just because I'm like, I'm not sure it would be, but. Each to their own, so to speak. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on slapping this down. Let's get this. Start to see the difference here. Look how much I'm like leaning deep in concentration. This is I'm fairly new to the whole streaming painting, so if I'm sat in an awkward position, that'll be why. Yeah, I've got to get used to like the angle that I sit, the angle that I've got the camera at, where the model is. Like, obviously, there you go. Here I am, perfect example. I'm talking about it while I'm literally like holding the model off to the side. Turn around. How deep does this go? So this looks like it's one piece up there. So I think it goes as far as here. Well, it will for me. So take a second. Have a look. We see the different steel colours starting to come through here, where we're seeing he's not just a gold man. Like the face, kind of on the box art, it's kind of not super clear whether the face is like a metal armour plate or is something different. We'll leave him. We'll leave him be. We'll leave his face to later down the line. And we've got another section here. So I'm looking at it going, is this going to be cloth or is this going to be metal? I think it's going to be metal in there. So maybe like the back of his armour. See that top section there. Yeah. And then we're back into this like side section here where I move myself slightly. So you have a better view, and I have a better view, which is doing around this sunburst again. Pick out this deal. Go around. Back in. There's like plenty of like really like lovely little bits to this model that as you look at it closer and as you paint it you go, ooh, well, that's pretty cool. Well, that's clever. It's obviously like the symbol on its shoulder pads we'll get to in a bit, but just like the level of detail on the sculpt where you go through like these plates on the legs just on their own, and you're like, yeah, this is kind of quite intricate armour. Yeah, I can appreciate the time that's been put into it, like the mastery. I did a very little bit of 3D sculpting while I was at university as part of like a virtual reality module, one of my IT degrees. I chose to do 3D sculpting. Wonder why. But yeah, I didn't really like click with it. And I had like an awful lot of like programs and options and like resources available to me. And I've said today to one of the locals, I really regret putting it down. And like not keeping like the passwords and the logins and stuff for basically this huge host of professional sculpting programs. Also, if I'd stuck to it, might be some sort of sculpting genius by now. So I also might not be. But yeah, so here we go. So we're seeing these different layers on the legs. I'm probably just going to go back over the body and the legs first before we do. In fact, now let's just crack on with what we've got. So this is going to be like a really awkward section where I'll check the website. I was going to say where where like the artwork for it isn't clear. So I'm like looking at basically this section is lower arm, where there's currently gallery where there's like this cross. And I'm like, is the section around the cross going to be like steel? I'm not sure. So let's find let me see what pictures I can find, because obviously someone's can have a little look. Oh, is this actually the model? Alright, annoyingly, I get to it and it's 101 already. So let's see. I think it's steel. By the looks of like some other pictures. Yeah, it looks like there's not a huge amount of pictures of the Archon like available, to be honest. Let's zoom in on what we do have. I've seen lots of pictures of slaughterhouses, which are beautiful models. But not what I'm looking for right now. Okay, here we go. Alright, it's by Travis, so Dark Lemcy, who's one of the it's like the head judge for Factory Press. So he's done it all as older steel. I think I'll do it steel with the symbol in gold. I think that works for me. So that's what we're doing. There you go. Decision made. So we'll get a bit more work on this guy. I think like just how I think the armor would look, or I guess how I like the armor to look. I guess is these like middle sections. Yeah, essentially like it's filigree right around the edge. The main section here can be in silver. What can we see here? This is, what's a good look for you? I think we see that just around. So obviously a little bit fiddly. Work around the cross. It was just see it coming together. All these lines. I wish I had new classes. One of my short lists of things to do at the moment is go get my eyes tested. I've had them done since before lockdown. Blatantly need some new lenses. I said it at the start of summer, so I could walk around with sunglasses on rather than glasses, but it's always ended up a little bit too far down on the list. But we'll get there. So we see. Just fill in this section. I said, yeah, we're just going to go around the cross. I think that's how I want to do it. I'm liking how it's going out, so. It turns out that spear is actually sharp. Yeah, so we've got the bracer section, so coloured in there, as you can see, like the gauntlet is taking it quite well. Similar thing on the elbow piece. And then we're just going to work our way up. Let's have a look at this. She's got golden, golden fists on the artwork, so those can stay as they are, which is nice. I think I'll do this middle section. Steel. There's the gold. So that. Cool. And then also got like a chainmail under his arm. So a little bit more obvious with and stuff. Boys up, hopefully. Hopefully I don't have to get let's see. He's been poorly, so I'm rather ready. If he needs me, then I can always paint another day. Which is if you got kids, you know that some days they just want a certain parent and they feel crappy. So just turn this around a little bit more. See on this section and then try and like wrap it around under his arm. See how far go with that. Flip him over. I think this like entire backplate is going to be silver as well, but we'll see. Well, we got for just over 2 hours at the moment, so we're not doing too bad. We've had some complications with Airbrush is hating me. Right, so that's the chainmail section done under his arm. We've got this like little like elbow piece. So we'll see. I think nice to like just carry on splitting up the armour. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we can see how many different like slivers. Paint needs to go down into different sections to bring them out, but it's coming together. And yeah, considering it started to go wrong with the airbrush, like failure, I can't knock it that I managed to get other stuff done. We see, yeah, the armour's pretty nice. I'm kind of surprised with these knee pads aren't silver, so they might be. They might end up being silver. It's just working around and the broken holy symbol on the armour, on the pauldrons, I should say. Not quite Vlad level of ridiculous pauldrons, but pretty chonky pauldrons nonetheless. Like they're a lovely bit of detail to pick out. The middle section here, drag paint out. Could have perhaps like put this guy on cork, but so not touching the wings so much. But I'm not too fussed on it currently. I was a little bit behind starting the stream because I've been out in the garden playing with the kids, being entertainment to the kids during the daytime while they're off school. So I'm going to flip it around, do this top section. So you can kind of see, like, really there, like the difference between the silver and gold. I think that comes out quite nicely. Around that section there. Making sure I'm taking my time. Getting the paint in the centre there and then sort of drawing it back out rather than worrying about where I'm going to glob it. That's a little bit of an awkward position. Mainly because what I want to show you guys versus what I want to look at is a little bit different. So I'm just going to use that. So nearly finished on the shoulder pad. This the first of these pauldrons, which is obviously like a huge chunk, right? So we've got then his head, his other arm, and then just the staff, the spear to do. Which should be a lot easier. The awkward bit might be the back section of the pauldron, like the neck piece. We'll get that in time. Could obviously cheat and do like a off pauldron, on pauldron. It's a big like movie thing. Like if you see. A lot of like I guess it's mainly in more tribally stuff. I guess it's you'll often have and in a lot of fantasy stuff you'll often have a visibly noticeable different pauldron. So you get basically like the showy pauldron and then the other one. It's interesting. I'm not sure where that started, but definitely is a thing. So yeah, we'll do the back. The main back section here in silver. I say in silver, in steel. So this is Vallejo metal colour steel, which is the colour we're using here. For all this section around the gold. This might be a little bit tricky to see where the wings are. That's fine. He's upside down. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's like how much can you see? Compared to how much can I see these like crazy angles. If I do this, go up here. As I said, I am relatively new to the whole painting on stream, so if you're watching me and you're coming and saying hello, thanks. super appreciate the support. And also, if you're watching going, wish that guy would get better at where he holds his model. Hopefully I will. I'll hopefully get there. It is hot in here tonight, so let's have a take a breather for a minute. So quick check. So this is the Defiled Archon for the Grymkin, which is part of Privateer Press's Hordes range. They're basically like nightmarish fairy tales. This is the Defiled Archon, so he's the an Archon, so essentially an angel that's been corrupted to become one of the Grymkin monsters. Yeah, we've done this gold is all Vallejo, it's all airbrushed in, using just metal colour, again Vallejo metal colour, gold, which is beaut, as you can see. Like I'm super like how it comes out, and then a bit of purple on the robes before the airbrush decided to abandon me for the night. So we switched over to doing these steel accents on the armour instead, basically. So that's what we're carrying on. How does the back of this guy look like if I was actual armour? Where would I be? Oh, we got this bottom section as well. Look at this little bottom section eluding me. So we'll do this. So we've done the back part, and we've missed out on this bit here. So if I hold that there-ish, so you can see, we'll just fill this in. Sweet. Not too much to it. Hopefully, see what I'm getting up to here. So that's that metallic section done, that's the back section done. Yeah. We're on to so this collar is all blatantly gold, and I think this section is where the thin like steel section like leads on. So it's really thin. Slice in here. Should be steel. And take the other side. Oh, looks okay. Okay. And yeah, the head. The head. Help me out. Do I do the back of his head steel or gold? And I do his face a different colour. This time, so I'll be coming back to that rather than making a decision I'm not sure right now. But the other, got very like Archon-y music on the go. Considering it's a random list. So we're going to start on the other arm. So we're starting with the chainmail. Go with the nice easy choices first. Still going to go on to gold. Sure, we can fix that off in a bit. Let's flip him all the way upside down to do. Can you see that there? Ooh. good angle are we going to get to this? The answer is not if I actually want to paint it. So I'll just quickly whip this. Let's just that back section and then flip it over so we can now see what I'm painting again. So we know there's like a little thin sliver of steel here in between like the top pauldron and like the section that hangs down from the pauldron. It's just like a guard. I'm not sure. Oh well, and I've just seen, I feel like inside there I feel like it should be steel. Which means inside this side should also be steel. So let's do it. Right, and back to this side. So that we worked out on this side. What was it? It's like shoulder section. Shoulder section. This elbow section. We did silver. I say silver. I mean steel. We're doing it in steel, not in silver. So let's fill that in. Get to. Any light on that section is like really hard. Okay, and then we'll flip around. We'll start doing like this, the bracer section itself. So around the cross, basically. I think what we'll do is we'll see how long this takes. Evaluate how long I'm carrying on for the side. So I'm coming up to 11 o'clock here, so it might be that we finish off the steel section and come back to it another night. We've got some decent progress. Good talking. It's good learning, and hopefully there'll be people watching that'll be sticking their orders in for some sweet new metallics. That'll change your life. I'm a bit shaky on this side. Just to like the hand guard. Okay. Very good. I was running low on what I've got on my palette, but alright. Just going to finish off this little hand guard. So if we look at that there, okay, there we've got the section there. This is meant to be chainmail. So just a little bit over. And this is like a sliver of chainmail because it looks that makes sense. And then finish this program. So if finish the pauldron, start the pauldron, do the pauldron. So just build up around. Just get a bit more actual. There you go. Just mix up a bit. Mix it and so pull that around. It's very exciting to watch it. So hopefully this has been helpful for people to watch, like to see this guy in a little bit more detail. So there's not a lot of pictures. Obviously, you've got like the coloured render. I don't think there's like an actual like 3D. There's normally like a 360 rotate model on the gallery for PP, for process, and it isn't for this chap. So you can't just flip him over and go, oh, what part is this meant to be, or what colour is this part meant to be? You've got to just kind of wing it, which is interesting. It's like if you're into armour, you know, if you've either painted enough models, I guess, or watched enough films, or done anything like reenactment or LARP, which I have, because I'm a proper nerd. Then you can you know, have a better idea of where different like materials in the armour might be different. So you go, oh, that should be a strap there. And it could be that like whoever's done the render hasn't, and it's just like missed it, right? Because it happens. So maybe those golden straps on the legs shouldn't be gold, and they should actually be leather. So let's get this section around here. Hopefully you can see this. Turn around. Go all the way in. It's dangerous of me there. I'm looking at the looking at my screen while I'm painting. Like, am I asking for something terribly horrible to go wrong? Quite possible. Let's go to the line there. Try and get this top section done. Just draw that down across the armour. And just got like this little section here to fill in. Let's have a look. Okay. So, a bit about our place there. So here we have tonight's progress. Oh, so I guess 11 o'clock. I could carry on. What have we got left to do? If I do just the steel, I guess not a lot of stuff. So yeah, we'll just finish off the stuff. It's pretty quick to do. get that first bit of steel onto the staff. I'm not super worried about this bit as well, because this is all going to end up being the purple road. So if I'm going over where the road is, it's not going to really matter. Because it's just going to end up being painted over.
A little bit darker, a little bit thicker on the paint, but so I'm not going to worry too much. This is just this back section where it's all going to end up being basically painted purple over. So live with a bit of overbrush there. I think overbrush. A bit of sloppiness, I guess, right? So we do that. And then obviously this section here is all being like wrapped around. And then we've got the purple. I guess these could be gold or silver or steel. So on the render, they're steel. So let's do them now. So it's easily changeable if I don't end up wanting to go that way. Like the back of the book at these is meant to be metal. Is that meant to be binding? I'm not sure. We'll play it safe and we'll leave it for now. In my head, it'd be just like leather bindings. So we're just doing the spearhead. So that's that done.
So I'm gonna take a minute. Reposition. Let's have a little look. Just wash off my brush for a second. This is like the first real go I've had at the new brush. I've had these broken toe brushes for ages, and just not got properly a chance to have them out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. So let's put them in a good spot. So that's a really good spot. I think we can see the different variations there. So here we have the Defiled Archon. Got the different sections of colour here, where we've got the gold and the silver armour plates. The face, I'm not sure what to do with, and the back of the head, which I'm not sure what to do with. But we'll come back to that, obviously. Then much of the rest of this is going to be obviously the purple. All this cloth is going to be purples. Winding around the staff, it's going to be purple as well. And then these wraps are black on the box art. I'm not sure if that'll end up being black, or maybe it'll end up being sort of cream, bandagey, or just brown, like leather wraps. But black works alright, so we'll see how that works out. Buckles, we've got the armour sections. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this bit. Like for Well, we are 2 hours and 40 minutes in. That's like including doing the zenithal and a fair bit of fighting with my airbrush to get to this point. So I can't happy with that. Yeah, there's a lot of cloth here to do. I wanted to do it with the airbrush. We will see if that comes about. I wanted to do the same as like the wings, right? But it's pretty cool. So. Where do we go from here? What colour is a Defiled Archon's face? So, if you watch this back, have a look, comment on it, let me know what you think the Defiled Archon's face should be, like colour-wise. It's kind of grey on the box art, but it's hard to tell if it's grey. It's meant to be grey, or if it's meant to be like steel. Words. I have noticed the centres of these suns I haven't done. And I'm like, do I now fill them in a steel colour? So they're then done. But I kind of like them as they are. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think like that. We'll go with that for now. So we're going to keep this central panel gold. Like, I think it adds a little bit more to it rather than taking it to steel. Maybe. I'm not super sold on it, but yeah, I quite like. I'm quite happy with how the we've got the different gold and the silver sections of the armour. That's all sorted pretty much. Like I said, there's the couple of questionable areas. So, do I fill in this bit silver, steel? Basically, just doing a bit of touch-ups where we have the overspray on like that lower leg. But yeah, I think it looks pretty meat, pretty dooming. He's getting there, for sure. He's getting there. So yeah, I'm gonna, I think, call it a night. It's like gone 11. It's like 11, yeah. So I'm gonna put him down for the night. Go and do some other bits and bobs. But yeah, if you've enjoyed watching, yeah, don't forget, come and have a chat, say hello. And you can obviously you can subscribe and feed the social media gods. I'll stick this up on YouTube. In fact, that might be what I do now. With my time, is compress the video and get it ready for YouTube. But yeah, so that is the Grymkin Defiled Archon so far, and we'll get holding it back for that. Like, he's a mighty impressive model. I gotta say. Like, what's not to love about that? He looks super cool. So yeah, the Grymkin Defiled Archon, and yeah, thanks for joining me if you have. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Thanks for the follows. I've had a couple of people like sub and follow tonight, which is super appreciated. And yeah, he just looks super bloody cool. And we'll leave it with that. So cool. I might do some more in tomorrow night. Like I said, my schedule this week is a little bit out because my kids, my little boy might have COVID, so we're waiting for tests and stuff. But so my daytime streams are out. So I might end up doing painting tomorrow night because I'm enjoying it. So we will see. But meanwhile, we'll get like a game up as well in the meantime. So I'm kind of aiming for like midday uploads onto YouTube. If you follow me and watching games of Warmachine, we're doing like uploads mainly at midday of game footage. We'll see how we go. So thanks for watching. Yeah, don't forget, feed them gods on social media. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever. I'm going to try and sort out Discord this week as well, so it'll be easier to have like somewhere to come and chat and arrange games and talk about what you want to see. But like, of things you want to see, this guy's pretty cool. quite happy with that. Quite happy with that. Cool. Right. Just looking at the details going, do I need to... Yeah, so that's me done for the night, and I will see you tomorrow for something. Cool. Good night.